Well, hi there, and welcome to another episode of Hey, What's Next? The computer reviews and testing I have done for this channel so far lean toward older processors or designs, but today I'm changing it up. I introduce to you the M4 Mac Mini. Why? Well, I've always liked the Mac Mini since its introduction in 2005. Hard to believe it's been that long. And with the Apple announcement at the beginning of November 2024, the latest model intrigued me. While the prior model was small, it was hard to call it mini anymore when other Windows-based mini PCs were so much smaller, right? I feel Apple recognized this trend and we finally get their take on what a mini PC should be. So, let's get it open, explore the design, and do a small bit of testing. The M4 Mac Mini from Apple. This is what's next. I've been pretty fortunate through my career to work for companies that like to use latest technology or ask me for my assistance on stuff, and this is one of them. This is my Mac Mini from, I believe, 2007. This was used, there's a Windows sticker, it actually was used to run Windows and a PowerPoint that was displayed on a screen that showed stats of support calls and other various things related to the organization. I acquired this because we got rid of these and went with the 2012 Mac Mini. And as you can see, I acquired this one too, and it's now my Plex server. But this one was, the design that's been around for ages, it seems like. Well, that comes to an end today. So getting back from the Apple Store, this is what we picked up tonight. This is the new Mac Mini. Smaller than the other versions, but as we can see here, it's Mac Mini on all four sides. This is the back of the box here, and I went with the 16 gigabyte, 256 gigabyte SSD. For $599, you can't go wrong with it. You can always add additional hard drive storage externally. But we got the 10-core CPU, 10-core GPU. This has the 3 Thunderbolt ports on the back, HDMI, 2 USB-C ports on the front, the headphone jacks on the front. Obviously, does not include display, keyboard, and mouse, sold separately. We have the box, nothing on the inside. Here is the Mac Mini itself. Super tiny. We'll do a comparison between this and the old one, and then in the bottom of the box here we have a braided power cable, and that's it because the power supply is actually in this. And then interestingly enough, we have the documentation, and it's round this time. All right, so again, being the documentation guy, I want to take a look at this, and there you go, the Mac Mini. These are the instructions to get it all set up. No Apple stickers. I guess you can ask for them when you're in the store. So that's the unboxing. Let me clear this all up. We'll take a look at the Mac Mini. There's our 2 ports. This is the front, and this should just peel off the back. There we go. The weight on this is so much lighter than this other one. There's our light. Everybody's kind of whining and complaining about the power button, but I don't care. Again, if this just sits on the ground, you just have to lift it up a little bit. It was almost as awkward on this one because you had to kind of reach around the back. There was the power button, and like half the time I had to move it out to get to it, so hey. The back of the device, again, we just have our standard ports. We have the HDMI, the Ethernet power, and our Thunderbolt 4 connections. Let's do a comparison between this and the other one. So here is the Mac Mini from 2012. Basically, again, height is a little bit taller, about a ½ inch, right? If we put this down here, slide that up, and then that gives you an idea of the size of the 2 devices. They were able to shrink all this down, including the power supply. That is just ridiculous. The bottom is rubberized right around the corner, but it still moves. Compared to the old one, this one had more weight and it stuck a little bit more, but yeah, so it will move. That is something to keep in mind. All right, first impressions, love the design. So it is like a mini version more of the studio than it is of the original Mac. I'm babbling. Let's just get this thing connected and we're just gonna run some basic tests. Again, the full testing video will be later next week. Oh yeah, one more thing. Here's that iProda. So let's put these two side by side. Mini PCs, I mean, they've been truly creating mini devices where, you know, the Mac Mini was no longer mini. Again, size-wise, you know, they've been doing that a bit. So I'm glad that Apple decided to, shall we say, jump on the bandwagon, but in their own style. All right, time to just shut up. Let's get this thing booted up and let's play around with it. All right, after the Mac OS Sequoia 15.1 update, we are finally into the Mac here. And we're going to first run Geekbench. We're going to run this CPU benchmark, and we're going to come back in just a moment and see what we got. All right, one thing that I wanted to mention is I have this connected up to my EcoFlow, and you can see here, there is the wattage. Again, I've seen it go as high as 25 watts, but right now it's running Geekbench. You get an idea with some of the spikes, how much power it's using. And with this EcoFlow here, I got 22 hours on when it's being used, or 63 hours when it just seems to be idle. So that's not bad. Let's get back to the Geekbench results. All right, there we go with our score. Again, this is out of the box. The system is still doing its stuff in the background, still processing and whatnot. The 3912 single core and 15,144 on the multi-core score. We noticed that the power draw, the highest that we saw was around 38, 39 watts during some of the testing. So it does get up there, but it was brief spikes and then it would drop immediately back down. Currently we're at 6 watts. That's what we're running with just the browser window open. Let's go ahead and let's run the metal bench test with Geekbench. All right, so I wanted to show a little bit of the wattage usage during the metal graphics test with the 10 cores. Again, we're seeing it spike up to high 20s, low 30s during some of this. Right now it's doing Gaussian blur, and then we should be going on to the next test here in a moment. This is feature matching. Again, giving you an idea of the power consumption from this M4 processor in the Mac Mini. So here's our metal score, 57,158. All right, one other things that I wanted to show you real quick, 2 more items. I just wanted to show you how quick it was to load pages. So if we go into apple.com, which I've not accessed, this gives you an idea of how quickly it loaded the page. I mean, that's pretty fast. And then if we go into, let's say, YouTube, and let's find our channel, and that's pretty quick. And of course, I'm not even going to test video playback on here. It will be fast. Last but not least for this episode, we're going to run the benchmark as it relates to the speed of the SSD. So we're going to run Blackmagic disk speed test. Let's give this a shot, see what we get. So around 2000 down to 1800 write, and about 1800 read. So we're going to let it run one more time. It's getting a little slower. We're getting back up in the right. So this gives you an idea, again, just out of the box. So these scores are going to be kind of all wonky right now, but that's initial out of the box scores. All right, well, let's send it back to the studio for my final thoughts. It does fit in one hand. In short, I believe Apple has it on their hands. The overall design change is reminiscent of the Mac Studio with the ports on the front and its stocky build, but without the hefty price tag. And the size finally lives up to the Mac Mini name and gives the Windows-based mini PC market some competition. The M4 processor that's in here provides a huge punch, and I can't wait to use it this week for another video that I'm editing. I do plan to have a follow-up video that covers the real-world use, at least how I use it, in addition to running other benchmarks and comparing it to other computers in my collection. So get subscribed to be alerted when that episode is posted. And as a bonus, since this computer's release, it's been confirmed that the SSD is replaceable and, based on recent testing, upgradable. That is exciting news, and that doesn't even sound like Apple now, does it? Do I have any criticisms? Not yet. While others have complained about the power button being on the bottom, it doesn't bother me at all. Also, the 256 gigabyte SSD entry level unit is not of concern either. In short, it fits my use case perfectly. So if you're looking to replace an older Mac or PC, this is a good choice for a wide variety of tasks, and this Mac won't break the bank. I hope you found today's topic helpful and informative. If you liked what you saw, take a moment and give me a thumbs up. Again, to have my channel appear in your feed, please click the subscribe button and bell notification icon. And a big thank you to the over 1,000 subscribers as of the posting of this show. It provides the encouragement for me to continue making more what I hope are fun and informative episodes. And to everyone else, thank you for watching. It's greatly appreciated. In the meantime, feel free to watch one of my other videos here or here. And until next time, I'll see you again for another episode of Hey, What's Next?